Okay, light workers and lurkers. So after our separation, I took a good 10 months to heal. So we separated in December of 2020. Around October of around October of 2021, I felt like I was ready to, date or put myself out there a little bit to open myself up to meeting new people. But during that healing period, remember when I stated that back when I was 13 that I closed my heart off, like I put up a boundary, like my heart was closed. I was still a loving and caring person, and I wasn't no foul person or did anybody dirty, but I didn't let anybody close to my heart. Like I was kind of cold in a way, but still open. I had boundaries. So around when I was healing during that 10 months, I started feeling myself softening up. I felt my heart opening. I was more open. So that was something that obviously needed to happen, and that was like what was supposed to happen during this separation period. And once me and him broke up, that was supposed to happen with me because me and his relationship wasn't lovey dovey. Like we didn't tell each other we loved each other. We weren't very affectionate at all. No hugs, really no kisses like that. Um, it was a business relationship. So he had his position that he played. I had my position that I played, and we handled our family unit a lot like a business. Plain and simple. It wasn't like a relationship based off of love. But I made sure that he was good. He, even though he was miserable, he can't say that I did not take care of him, and I took good care of him. And he did take good care of me. He was a provider, so we benefited each other both ways. So, but once we separated, I felt my heart opening. So I'm like, okay. So by the time, like, it took me about 10 months, I was completely celibate, didn't talk to nobody. I had to process and get used to the fact that he wasn't around. Because we were together for 14 and a half years. So I was used to seeing him every day, sleeping next to him every night for 14 and a half years. So I had to adjust to not having him around. Not saying that I missed him, but it was like a adjustment that I needed to make, as well as like my heart was opening. So by the time that I was ready to open myself up and date, around October of 2021, I attracted in a man rather quickly because that's all it really takes for me is to open myself up, and I attract almost instantly. It don't take me long at all. There's a point of if I like them or not, if I want them or not. I attracted plenty of men, but I found one that I vibe with, so I dated him for like 5 months after healing and really my heart opening up and adjusting to that separation or that breakup for almost a year. So in April of 2022, I met my twin flame. I have a whole my twin flame journey video. You can check that out if you want to hear the ins and outs of that. But yeah, I met him and we were in a connection for 3 months. Saw him 1 month, didn't see him the second month, saw him again another month. So yeah, I say 3 months in total because we talked every day, even when we didn't see each other. So we still, stayed in contact. But yeah, I was in that connection, and that connection was the catalyst to my great awakening. So the separation or the ending of that twin flame connection triggered my awakening, my great awakening. So yeah, at the very beginning of my awakening, I remember waking up one morning and I was intuitively told, as quick as I opened my eyes, I was told to be myself and that I could do whatever I want. I was like, okay. And that's what I did. So I noticed during that awakening that things started looking differently. So outside, like the trees were glistening, the sky looked beautiful. Like I had like a new set of lenses. um to nature, to nature, the sky, the trees, the grass, like everything just looks so beautiful. The sky, oh my goodness, magnificent. So my senses were heightened during early in my awakening. Like it was like some like my blindfold was taken off, kind of like I could see everything so differently. Now, another thing that I noticed that during my awakening, like early on, I would catch myself moving in a circular motion like this. When I was, randomly sitting, I would just go, or I would go like this. It was like moving my body, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? But it was a part of my awakening. Like I was trying to adjust. Yeah, it's an energetic thing. I'm going to put in a clip of Beyonce doing it at a basketball game. Now, I think she knows about awakenings, but I don't think that she was actually experiencing one personally, because being at the height of her career and being who she is, and to be out in public on national TV doing all of this and all of that, no, and out with Jay-Z at the same time. Like I said, basketball game, national TV. Like you wanted people to see you doing this. So, do I think that she was actually having a great awakening? No, but I think she knows about them, and she knows the symptoms of them, and she wanted people to see her doing them on TV. Whoever she was trying to show. You know who she's supposed to be associated with, so you put everything together for yourself. But I know personally, when I was doing those motions, I never did them in front of my kids. I could control it. So when I was around my kids, I was straight tightened up. Like I never did that around them because I know it would freak them out. So I could control it. But when I was alone, I would do it. I would go ahead and get it out, and but yeah, I'll put in a clip of her doing this. You could get an idea, because people were saying she was on drugs. She wasn't on drugs. That was something that she wanted people to see for her and her husband's own reasons.
As a longtime real estate executive for Cushman & Wakefield, Glenn had the foresight years ago to know what Brooklyn could become, and he played an important role in the renaissance of our thriving world. In addition, Glenn was a key player in helping the Project team's future HSS.
Now, during my Great Awakening, I had a spirit in the house with me, and he's not even a spirit; he's a god. His name is Anubis. He's one of my family members, one of my soul family members. And he came all the way to this planet because, yes, evolved ancient souls can astro travel from planet to planet. I've had astro travel to my planet several times during my Great Awakening, and I'll get into the other visitors that I had. But Anubis stayed in my home, and he protected me during my awakening. Now, at first, I didn't know who it was. I just knew that there was a spirit in my house protecting me. But once I figured out who I am, that's when I got the download of who was protecting me. And Anubis was very protective of me. Like if I left the house, Anubis was in the car with me when I drove. Even one time I'm asleep and I'm laying in the bed, I'll wake up and look up and I see like a black smoky cloud over my bed and him watching me sleep. Like he's very, very protective over me. So yeah, he stayed in my home and protected my home and my family until I was fully awakened. Now, I would notice a lot of black cars, and not just black cars, but black trucks, like with blacked out tent, all in my neighborhood. Now, the neighborhood I lived in was in a cut. We didn't have a lot of traffic. Like I was like right in a cut. So, and I never saw those cars. And I lived in their house for damn near 10 years. Never saw blacked out cars, but during my awakening, it was all kind of blacked out vehicles all driving past my house. And I also had people walking past that I didn't know, that didn't live in my neighborhood, that walk past my house and look at me, because sometimes I would paint furniture on my front porches. I had a furniture refinishing business, so I'd be on my front porch painting furniture, and I see people walking by looking, people driving by looking. But not only the black cars with the blacked out tent, That was very, very, very suspicious in my neighborhood that I saw regularly, but that didn't last forever. It only lasted a little small amount of time, and nobody ever said anything to me. They just they were just riding through, so I didn't pay it no mind because I didn't feel threatened. So the other spirits that would come to my home from other planets, I guess you can call them angels or whatever. They are not spirits on this planet. The spirits on this planet are not high vibrational people. And when I say spirits and I say they astral project from other planets here, that means they leave their vessels, their bodies on other planets and travel here. Now you have to be an evolved soul, ancient soul, old evolved soul, ascended soul that can astral travel from planet to planet. And I've had angels come in. One particular, well, it wasn't just one time, but I can explain it like when they would come in my bedroom, I'd be in the bed. All of a sudden, I could sense them in the room, and then I would be like put to semi-conscious sleep. So I wouldn't be able to see anything, but I could hear. So one time I will tell you that they had came in. It was more than one, but it was definitely one female because I heard her giggle. But they came in, put me to semi sleep, so I couldn't see, but I could definitely hear, and I'd be laying on my back, and then they would roll me to my side, go from my back to my side, back to my side like 3 or 4 times. And another thing is, they would give me a vision, so I would have like a vision of the figure of an angel. So it wouldn't be like an actual face or anything, but you could see like the figure of them, like the wings and everything to let me know I'm an angel or I'm, that I'm here to do whatever. And they were working on me during my, when I first awakened because the twin flame cord had just been cut. So they were just making sure, I guess they was getting everything cleared out so that I can finish awakening. And they came to my house a good, I say 3 or 4 times during my stay at that house. Now I moved out of that house in April of 2023 and moved into the current house I'm in now. And they've only been here once in this house, and I've been here for over a year. But it was kind of early on in this house. They came and worked on me again, but I didn't get twisted and turned. I just was kind of put to semi-sleep and they worked on me. But that has happened a few times as well. The sensation of when they're working on me kind of feels energetic. So I could say it feels kind of vibrationally or kind of staticky. I don't know how to really explain it, but I could feel like energetic work being done. Like it feels like static or vibrations or however. I mean, that's the best way I can kind of explain it so you can get a kind of an idea of what it felt like. It didn't hurt though. So yeah, and I wasn't in any danger. One time I had went to Wawa to get some food for myself and my kids. And I walk in and people are like staring at me. I was like the center of attention. I'm like, what is going on? Now I had people look, but it wasn't like that. It was like kind of really very, very, very different. Like my energy was very magnetic, even more like magnified. People were staring at me. Like I was like the center of damn attention, getting some food from Wawa. So that's another thing. Another time, I remember taking my daughter to the emergency room, and we are sitting in the lobby, and I'm looking at my arm, and I had on regular lotion, but it was like I had glitter lotion on, like I had sparkling glitter on my skin. Looking at my skin, I was like, whoa. So those are two things that I remember, but definitely going out and people like staring, like really, like yeah. Now during my awakening as well, if you watch my twin flame video, you know that I was basically at war with my twin flame and his coven of witches and warlocks or whoever his clique was that were trying to attack me. So during that time, I had them send demons to me. So it's kind of like the same thing with the angels coming, but they had bodies. So say if I Decide I want to astral travel to another planet. My body will be here in my bedroom, but I'll be off there. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. But it's not the same with demons. Like my twin flame and his people sent demons that were in the spiritual realm that didn't have vessels to me. But with my spiritual rank and who I am, they would show me who they are by giving me an image of a demon and telling me, oh, these people sent me, and snitch on them. So I would have to go handle that. I would have to go astro travel to them to handle them. And I also had a tarot reader send a demon to me as well. And that demon told on her, and I went and handled her. So did I go handle her? I think I did go handle her. But I know she's still doing tarot, but I know for a fact that she's marked for purgatory. Like after she finished living this lifetime, she's not living any more lifetimes. Like she's like the walking dead. So she can have her fun now. And along with my twin flame and his peoples, like they can have their fun now, but they won't be living any more lifetimes because they try to attack me and my with my ranking, and they've done stuff to other people too. The tarot reader that sent the demon to me sent it for the most frivolous shit. I know that she has done that to other people. They just don't know. I mean, she was emotional intelligence was non-existent. The reason why she sent the demon to me. So I know she's done it to other people. So I was like the final straw. Like she will not be living any more lifetime. She's finito. My kids had to get to know me all over again. So after I awakened, I was talking different. I was watching tarot more. I was laser focused. Everything was spirituality. And they weren't used to that. And it affected my oldest daughter the most because me and her were like really close. We're a lot alike. And she's a Scorpio like me. Her personality type, her Myers-Briggs, is INFJ just like me. Like we think alike. She think it, I think it. Like we're psychically connected. So when I switch so much, and she's the type of person that like structure, she don't like change. And by me switching so much, it really affected her negatively. So, but we made it through. She was able to adjust to me. My youngest daughter, she didn't really have any major issues with me. She adapted pretty well. And my son, that ended up being the end of me and his relationship in the end. I'll get more into that in a minute, but I did talk about it in my Raising a Karmic Child video if you want to check that out. But yeah, my kids had to get to know me all over again. And with my daughter, that it affected the most, I still don't really talk about spiritual stuff with her because she still doesn't feel totally comfortable with it. We found a happy medium, and I respect her boundaries when it comes to discussing spirituality because I know it can be overwhelming for her. So our relationship was strong enough for us to be able to make it through and still be okay. We're good now. So I was intuitively guided to watch a lot of tarot. And during watching my tarot, I started noticing karmic readers. So I would watch a reader for a little while, peep their karmic, air them out in their comment section, get blocked, and move on to the next. That was the pattern. So I had to learn like a lot of their tactics, their mindsets, their little tricks, and the fact that they even exist, because a lot of people don't even notice. So that was one thing that I needed to observe. I had to do a lot of studying of people. And I also most importantly, had to learn myself. So I not only studied my birth chart inside and out, I got downloads from past lifetimes and also learned new information this lifetime. Like I said, studied my birth chart inside and out, all my placements, my houses. Like I did a lot of research on myself because when you're awakened, you're called to learn what you need to learn to be able to do your job. Whatever you're here to do, the position you're meant to hold, especially if you're high ranking, you have to be up to par to be able to fulfill your mission for your awakening. Your awakening is like your like you being called to into duty. You know what I'm saying? So I had to be on point, and I sacrificed a lot. Like I really stopped really refinishing furniture. My business, I had an Amazon business that kind of got put on the back burner. I prioritized my spiritual journey because that's the most important, and that's what's going to pay off for me in the end. 'Cause that's what I'm here for. That's my purpose. So yeah, if you have experienced a great awakening, focus on that. Don't focus on any distractions. Listen to your intuition. Your intuition will guide you to do what you have to do to be prepared for your position, especially if you have a position of leadership. When I say I got downloads, I got a lot of downloads. I still get a lot of downloads. I get downloads just from everywhere all the time. And they're not going to stop. I still have a lot to learn, and I've learned a lot over these last 2 years, and I'm only scratching the surface of the information that I'm going to learn. So yeah, it's been very fulfilling, even though it was kind of chaotic, but it's been worth it. Now, probably the most chaotic thing that happened during my awakening, and this is way more chaotic than the little twin flame fiasco bullshit, is my son. Um, Early in my awakening, my son sent me a text message saying that he's sorry for all the things that he's done and basically saying goodbye. Like he was telling me that he was about to take himself out. So I called him immediately and he turned his phone off. Like he wouldn't answer the phone, he turned his phone on. So I'm like panicking, like what? So when my son called me and told me what he planned on doing to himself, what he was getting ready to do, I automatically contacted his girlfriend, and she couldn't get a hold of him. So after I contacted his girlfriend, I contacted his aunt because that's who he was living with at that time, his father's sister. So I contacted his aunt and was saying if they knew what was wrong with him or what was going on. So I ended up driving. He was supposed to have been going to physical therapy that day after work. So I ended up driving to his physical therapy. Couldn't find him there. I went to his aunt's house. His aunt trying to get in contact with him. He wouldn't answer the phone for nobody. So I'm like, okay. I broke down. I was crying. I was like, oh my goodness, like crying my heart out. Um, that same day, I processed it. I was like, okay, if he does do it, then first of all, I don't respect going out that way. So if he decides to take that way out, I just have to let it go. And I came to terms with it. If he did it, and I came to terms with it. If he decided to go out that way, okay. And I accepted it, whether, if he did it or not. So eventually, I ended up going home because I was riding around looking for him, couldn't find him. He wouldn't answer his phone. Nobody could contact him. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm going home now. I came to terms with it. Like, what else could I do? Because I don't respect that anyway. So I just had to wrap my mind around if he went through with it or not. If he went through with it, okay. So I go home, and his aunt texts me telling me that he's there. He's there. He's hysterical. He's crying. And I drove right to her house. She didn't live too far from me, less than 15 minutes away. So I drove to her house and went and checked on him, drove back to her house. I had already been there and left. And he didn't want to talk. He was in his room, didn't want to talk. So I gave him his space. I was like, look, I'm about to go head back home. Let me know if you need anything. Like, I let it go. Like, if he decided to do it then, that would be his decision, and I wouldn't hold that. That would be his choice. I had to accept it. So he was supposed to be moving out of his aunt's house anyway, because that was only like a temporary place. He's supposed to be moving back with me. So he never ended up going through with it. And he never really discussed what happened until later, and I gave him space to tell me exactly why, later. So when he finally told me what happened, he said that he was sitting somewhere like by some water or something, and he said his life flashed before his eyes. Like everything that he's ever done flashed before his eyes. Now, I was already going at it, like going, not even going at it, whipping my twin flame in the ass for trying to spiritually attack me. I wasn't worried about that being the issue because I know my children were protected. But once he explained it to me how his life flashed before his eyes, I was like, yeah, that was judgment. Because like I said in my raising a karmic child video, he had a lot of um hatred towards me on the inside, a lot of resentment. Now, he never threatened to take himself out before, but one time that he had I kind of put him out, but he was already had a place lined up. He just needed like a couple days before his apartment was ready. And because my ex-husband accused him of stealing from him, and he used to steal around my house all the time. He stole my car. He used to steal from everybody in the house. So I believe my ex-husband, but there's a possibility that my ex-husband lied on him. But when he had moved into that apartment, he wasn't living with me. He called me one day and he was like crying and saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Kind of like how it was when I was scolded by the Creator God. So I believe that he was scolded by the Creator God and was told to call me and apologize for the things that he's done before, but he never threatened to harm himself in any way back then or ever. So when that happened with him wanting to unalive himself or take himself out, I'm like, okay, that was judgment for you to see your life flash before your eyes. That wasn't a spirit coming to you. That was the Creator God like judging you. That was judgment. That was his scolding. So I figured, okay, he got chastised, he got judged. That's more than chastised when you get judged. My life ain't never flashed for my eyes. I just was told to stop doing a particular thing. And when he called me that day saying he's sorry, that was being told to stop doing a particular thing. Whatever he's thinking about me, he was told to stop. But when he got judgment, I was like, okay, maybe that's it. Because I always thought that he could have been a karmic, but I was like, it crossed my mind, especially after my awakening. Definitely, it didn't cross my mind until my awakening. I didn't know what a karmic was until my awakening. But adding up all the how he came into this world and all the chaos and stuff that I had to deal with raising him, I was like, okay, he could be a karmic. But I figured after his judgment and him coming to live with us under my protection, that maybe he wasn't. That was a possibility, but at the end of the day, that was all. He was supposed to live with me temporarily, divine timing. So he stayed with me, and we ended up moving into a new house, and he lived in this new house with me until like I said in the Raising a Karmic Child video, he came and was telling me basically that the way I was treated during my 6-year karmic cycle was my fault. But it wasn't just that. He was saying that me not wanting to be bothered with my family, like he wanted me to still be around them. He's like, he wasn't raised with them, and why I don't want to be around them. And I'm telling him exactly why I cut him off. I was supposed to, like, I'm not supposed to have them people around me. And he was saying, I must be the problem. Like, why don't you want your family around? Why you act like you act towards them, or why you don't want to be bothered with them? Then another thing he brought up is the fact that, I let my kids go around my mother, which I've stated before, because even though I cut her off 12 years ago, I wanted them to see how she was for themselves. So my daughter saw how she was, but he apparently didn't, or didn't want to, because they're, both karmic. So when my kids did go around her house, all of them can tell you that she will always be asking about me. What your mother doing? What's going on in your house? Like, it's like she wanted them to come around to figure out what I was doing, what I had going on. She was obsessed with me. Okay. So and also when they would go around her house, she would talk about me like I'm lazy. I don't want to work because I had a husband that took care of me. So he looking at the stuff she's saying about me, and by me, prioritizing my spiritual journey over my business, is saying that what she was saying was right. The stuff that she was saying was rooted in jealousy because I was a stay-at-home mom. Why are you worried about what my man doing for me? That was jealousy and hate. So he's taking the stuff that she used to say about me to my children that I didn't care about because it wasn't true. They need to see that for themselves and hear what she had to say about me and see how she was so obsessed and worried about me for themselves. But he took that as she was right. So I'm like, okay, I see your mindset and I see what side of this shit you're on. So that's when I decided to, okay, that was the tower moment. That was my deciding factor to cut him off completely. So the judgment that he received didn't teach him anything. The scolding that he received, and he called me crying, apologizing about, all the stuff that he didn't teach him anything. Karmics don't learn lessons, like I say over and over and over again. So yeah, that was basically, I'll say, the end, the final cut of my spiritual awakening. So yeah, that's the end of that. I think that's it for for karmics. I hope I ain't gotta talk about no more karmics that I done had to deal with. But I am open to helping other people with their soul journeys, and if they're dealing with karmics, help give them advice with their situations. So yeah, apparently, obviously, I've had a lot of experiences with karmics, and I've had a very interesting soul journey. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, and share. And this is the last video I'm recording tonight. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.